Hello everyone, this is a seventh lecture on hydraulic engineering and machines. In the last lecture, we found the conditions for most economical triangular channel and circular channel. In case of hydraulically efficient triangular channel, the side slope should be equal to 45 degree and the channel will be half of square which is described on diagonal. And for circular channel, we found that we cannot design the channel for minimum perimeter to have a hydraulically efficient channel by keeping the area of flow constant. So for circular channel, we designed the channel for maximum velocity and for maximum discharge. Okay, we found the value of theta, depth of flow, and the hydraulic mean depth. Now we come to the problem related to circular channel. A concrete lined circular channel of 3.6 meter diameter has a bed slope of 1 in 600. Determine the velocity and flow rate for the conditions of maximum velocity and maximum discharge. Take C, which is Chase's constant, equal to 50. Now let's solve this problem. What is given? The diameter of the circular channel is 3.6 meter. Bed slope of the channel is 1 in 600 and C is equal to 50. We have to find the velocity and flow rate both for maximum velocity as well as for maximum discharge. Firstly, let's find the velocity and flow rate for maximum velocity condition. For maximum velocity. For maximum velocity, we know that the value of theta is 128 degree 0.75. 128.75 degree. Depth of flow is 0.81 times of diameter and hydraulic mean depth is 0.305 times of diameter. Okay, this was the conditions we found for the maximum velocity in circular channel in the last lecture. Now let's find the depth of flow. Y is equal to 0.81 times of D. Diameter is 3.6. So it will give you 2.92 meter. And R is equal to 0.81 times of R is 0.305 times of diameter, 3.6. This will give you 1.098 meter. Now what is the formula to find velocity in open channel? V is equal to C root over RS, that is the Chase's equation. C is 50, R is 1.098 and S is 1 by 600 is equal to approximately 2.14 meter per second. And discharge or flow rate is equal to AV. Now here we need to find the area of flow to find the discharge. Okay, how to find area? The formula of area of flow for circular channel is R square theta minus sine 2 theta divided by 2. Okay, this is the formula. Now put the value of r. R is half of diameter, that is 1.8. Theta is 128. Here we need to remember that if theta is alone, then we have to substitute value in radian, and if theta is in trigonometric function, then we have to put here value of theta in degree. Clear? So here theta is alone, hence the value will be in radian. So 128.75 degree, if you convert this into radian, then you need to multiply by 1 by 180 degree. Okay, minus sine 2 theta, 2 multiplied by 128.75 divided by 2. After solving this, we will have area of flow as 8.85 meter square. Here 1.8 square, okay, because this is square of radius. So 8.85 meter square will be the area of flow. Now substitute this value here. 8.85 multiplied by 2.14 is equal to 18.94 meter cube per second. Okay, 2.14 meter per second is the velocity, and 18.94 meter cube per second is the flow rate in case of maximum velocity condition. Now again we have to find the velocity and discharge for maximum discharge condition. So let's find that one. Maximum discharge condition. In this case, the depth of flow is 0.95 times of d, and hydraulic mean depth in this case we found 0.29 times of d. So y is equal to 0.95, diameter is 3.6. This will give you 3.42 meter, and hydraulic mean depth is equal to 0.29 multiplied by 3.6. This will be equal to 1.032 meter. We now find the velocity. V is equal to c root over rs is equal to c is 50, r is 1.032 multiplied by 1 by 600. After solving this, we have the velocity 2.07 meter per second, and to find the discharge, again we have to find the area of flow. Let's find first the area of flow. A is equal to, the formula is r square theta minus sine 2 theta divided by 2. Here the theta value for maximum discharge is theta is equal to 154 degree. Okay, r is 1.8 square. Theta in radian will be 154 degree multiplied by pi by 180 degree minus sine 2 theta is 154 degree divided by 2. After solving this, we will have the value of area of flow equal to 9.98 meter square. Now we can find the flow rate. Q is equal to AV. Substitute the value of A and B here. 9.98 multiplied by 2.07. This will give you 20.66 meter cube per second flow rate. Okay. Now we have found velocity 2.07 meter per second and flow rate 20.66 meter cube per second for maximum discharge condition. Now we come to the next topic, that is compound channels. As the name suggests, a compound channel is a channel section which is composed of a main deep portion and one or more floodplains that carry high water flows. Look at this figure. This is a schematic sketch of a compound channel. This is a main channel, or we can say this is a main deep portion of the compound channel section, and these are the floodplains. Okay, this is the left floodplain, this is a right floodplain. The main channel carries the dry weather flow, and during wet season, the flow may spill over the banks of the main channel to the adjacent floodplains. Means in case of high depth of flow, means during the wet season, the flow occurs over the floodplains, and in dry weather, when the depth of flow is small, the flow takes place over this main deep portion. A good example of compound channel is river. A majority of natural rivers have compound sections. A compound section is also known as two-stage channel because when depth of flow is small, the flow occurs only in main channel, and when the depth of flow is high, then the flow spill over to the bank of the main channel and it reaches to the floodplains. Based on the geometry and roughness, the hydraulic conditions of the main channel and the floodplain differ considerably. Okay. One more thing is that the velocity of flow in the floodplain is lower than in the main channel due to relative smaller water depth and higher bed roughness. Okay. The velocity in the floodplain is small. Why? Because here the depth of water is relatively small, and here we can see that a large surface of the boundary of floodplain is in contact with the flowing water, and this is the reason here the roughness, bed roughness is higher than the roughness in main channel. Field observations have indicated that in the overbank flow situation, means during the wet season, the mean velocity of flow for the whole cross section decreases as the depth of flow increases. It reaches a minimum and then onwards begins to increase with the depth. Okay, what happens during wet season? As the depth increases, the mean velocity decreases. Okay, and after a certain minimum value of the velocity, with the increase of depth, the velocity also start increasing. In one-dimensional analysis, the Manning's formula is applied, okay, to the compound channel by considering a common conveyance K and a common energy slope SF for the entire section to obtain the discharge as Q is equal to K root over SF. Okay, this is the Manning's formula. Here this K is a conveyance and SF is the energy slope. Remember here SF is equal to S naught for uniform flow. Okay, what is S naught? S naught is a bed slope of the channel and SF is the energy slope. Okay, in case of non-uniform flow, usually we use slope of the energy instead of bed slope of the channel. So here we apply the Manning's formula by considering a common conveyance K and energy slope SF. However, to account for the different hydraulic conditions like geometry and roughness of the main and floodplains sections, the channel is considered to be divided into subsections with each subsection having its own conveyance that is denoted by Ki. Okay, and the sum of the conveyances will give the total channel conveyance, means summation of Ki is equal to K, and this K we use to determine the discharge through the compound channel. Clear? Means separately we need to calculate the conveyance in order to account the different hydraulic condition of main channel and the floodplain, and we sum up all these conveyances to find a common conveyance, that is K, and this K we will use to find the discharge. Now we come to the methods which are used to solve the compound channel problem. The most widely and popular method is divided channel method. Okay, this method is widely used to solve compound channel problems, and this method is further divided into number of methods like vertical interface method, diagonal interface, horizontal interface, curved interface, and variable interface method. But mostly vertical interface method and diagonal interface methods are used because they give reasonably good results. Okay, what is vertical interface method? In this method, the floodplains are separated from the main channel by a vertical interface. Okay, this is the vertical interface. This floodplain is separated from this main channel by a vertical interface, and remember, here we assume that there is no shear stress at this interface. Okay, means the shear stress which exists at this boundary and this boundary is absent at this interface. Clear? Means the length of this interface we do not consider to find the perimeter of the channel. Clear? Next is diagonal interface. In similar way, in this method also, the floodplains are separated from the main channel by a diagonal. Okay, and this diagonal interface starts from the top of bank of main channel and it ends to the center of the water surface. Clear? This is the diagonal interface. By this interface we separate this floodplain and this main channel. Clear? Here also this interface, we assume that here also the shear stress is 0. Okay, and this, the length of this interface also we do not include to find the perimeter. So this was all for today. In the next lecture we will solve one problem related to compound channel, and also we will see the concept of specific energy. Thank you.